I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, the flag in the back. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks to the Harson's Island Lions for letting us have our meeting here. Let's do roll call.
Mark Bouchard?
Here.
Joanne Shirkey? Here. Cindy Valentine here. Artie Bryson?
Here.
Christy Hilton? Here. Crystal Regan?
Here.
Sandy Kuko? Here.
Okay, we're all here and accounted for. Next is bills payable. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for bills payable in the amount of $155,278.39.
Support.
We have motion and support. Any discussion?
The check register for Township of Clay, the numbers, is that checks paid between meetings or does that?
Yes.
Okay.
And that is for the police body cams.
The Island Tech Services?
Yeah.
That's the police body cams?
Yep, it was board approved last week.
Thank you.
All right, any more discussion, questions? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Christy Hilton?
Yes.
Crystal Regan?
Yes.
Sandy Kuko?
Yes.
Mark Bouchard?
Yes. Okay, motion carries. Can everybody hear us okay out there? The back row? We're good? Okay. Next is our supervisor's report. I know the most thing everyone's looking forward to. I am. You are. Anyhow.
Your last supervisor.
Your last supervisor's report.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it so much.
So, anyhow, most of my time the past couple of weeks has been consumed by high water stuff. And a lot of communicating with residents, email, text messages, phone calls on high water issues. And I did renew to the board our township flood emergency. Basically, yes, we have high water, as everybody knows. Actually, a month ago, we had a meeting with the emergency manager here and a bunch of people from the county, the DNR, and everybody else. And they said, hey, Artie, or they said, hey, everybody, it could go up 8 to 12 inches. Well, I looked today, we are up 6.5 inches from that meeting. And it's definitely a challenge. There's a lot of frustrated people out and about. I know we're doing all weekend to help everybody, to protect their own property. I know we just did run out of sandbags, and we ordered, this was last week, we ordered 70,000 more. They're going to get here Wednesday. At least that's what the tracking information says. And Wednesday, what time, I don't know. We don't know yet. But anyhow, we have a lot of roads that are compromised. Let's see, in fact, we have Colony Road, Marina Drive, Riverside, Anchor Bay Drive, Crispin, Columbine, Vokes, and several private roads too. The road commission has been busting their tails trying to get the water off and keep them off. The worst actually is Anchor Bay Drive. That road is turning into gravel, and the road's only about 9 years old. And they actually started replacing the third bridge. They were going to hold off and do that one in the fall, but they're replacing the third bridge, and with the hopes of pumping it, keeping it dry, fixing the potholes, and then paving the road, repaving it again. And but Saturday the water went up and it went over a couple people's seawall, and they got flooded out again after working 2 days to get it dry. Same thing on Marina Drive and Riverside. We plugged a bunch of drains with these balloons and got it pumped out, and the water went up. All of a sudden we got more drains that were leaking in and filled up. And then we're actually going to attempt to do the same thing down Colony. People are asking me, well, how come Crispin Road's flooded? The road commission's not doing anything. Believe me, they are doing stuff. They, you know, for us or the road commission to go sandbag these roads, we're dealing with roads that are severely underwater where it's the only access to people's homes and a lot of people's homes. So the priority is going to be on these homes, not so much on Crispin and Vokes, where it's an inconvenience and you got to drive around a little further. It just makes sense to, you know, we got to prioritize things. And believe me, the road commission is busting their tail. In fact, I talked to Kirk Weston. He's going to send another crew down here. Right now we have 2 crews. He's going to send a 3rd crew down here to try to get some of this work done. Well, we might as well just keep on talking about roads. Because the roads are so soft, the road commission is going to put weight restrictions on some of the roads. Probably won't happen until Wednesday or Thursday. I think the notices are going to go out tomorrow. They're looking at doing Golf Course Road, Cottage Lane, Crispin, I assuming Vokes and Columbine where it's gravel, and on the mainland Anchor Bay Drive. So there'll be weight restrictions on those roads because they're just soft. You know, when the water's literally, the river level is 4 inches below the top of the road, they're soft and it's gonna, otherwise, well, they already are, but it's going to be like a roller coaster. If not, it'll be worse. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, last Monday, I had a meeting with, at the emergency management office. There was about 8 people from the Corps of Engineers, 2 people from the state emergency management team, a guy from NOAA, a bunch of county people were there. And basically out of that meeting, it was mostly what the Corps can do for us and what they were expecting. The average water level in May, and I'm going to say water level average, what it is say you look on that chart, you'll see, okay, this is what the water level is in Lake St. Clair. It's not the water level here. There's 4 or 5 gauges in Lake St. Clair, and it's the mean, the average, not the average, it's actually the mean of all those gauges is what they come up with. So we could actually have higher water here than it is on the other side of the lake. But the average water level in May was 4 inches higher than the all-time record set in '86. And they told me this is Monday, without much rain, the levels from May to June will probably increase 2 to 3 inches. Well, between Monday and today, we had 2 or 3 inches already, but that was with rain. The wetter and cooler June is, the more water levels will increase. And the guy from NOAA, he basically told us, this was in June 10th, he said, well, we're predicting the first month, half of June to be wetter and cooler. And I'm like, it's already June 10th, you know, it's not hard to figure out. But they're saying the second half of June, he's predicting to be a little warmer and drier. So hopefully that holds true. And the Army has a level forecasting tool, or model, I should say, where they basically take all the runoff on rivers throughout the whole Great Lakes, on different rivers, and they measure the runoff plus anticipated rain minus anticipated evaporation, and they can do the weather level change, water level change, I'm sorry. And in the short term, within 1 month, they said they can get about 90% accuracy. And like, and Brian, this is last week, and he told me we're going to see another 2 or 3 inches pretty quick, and you know what? He was right. So we had a lot of talks about that, and but he, you know, basically he said locally our water levels can go up if we have a good rain. And here or up north, a good rain, and that happens more gradual. It depends on lack of evaporation, what our water levels are. So we even had some more conversations. Well, what can you guys do for us? And they do have a program which would help private people on specific areas. It's called an Advanced Preparation Program. And I could see it working maybe along Anchor Bay Drive in a few select neighborhoods where everybody would have to sign, give the Corps easement, and basically they would come in and build about a 2 or 3 foot high berm to help everybody out. He said, unfortunately, the whole process and the paperwork and everything takes about a year. So, and like I told everybody at this meeting, you know, I'm not so worried about this year. You know, we have high water and we're dealing with it. But if it goes up another 7 inches next year, I'm really worried about it. You know, who knows? And so actually, we're going to start the program now. So if we do need it, God forbid, it will be in place for next year. And if the water does go down, we can scrap it, no big deal. But we're going to get all the paperwork done and the thing in progress. So hopefully we can help people. I asked the state guys, and this is a problem that we're having. People in the community came to me. Hey Artie, I sandbagged all in front of my house and everything. I live next to state-owned property and they haven't done anything, and I'm getting flooded from the state property backside or on the side, and he's flooding my property out. I asked the boys from the state, well, I said, I don't know what to tell them. What do I tell them? And actually, it kind of caught him by surprise. They didn't know either, and they owe an answer to me. And I'm not sure if they're going to. I'll get one or not. But I know they have had some high-level discussion in Lansing about it. I told them, you know, the DNR owns like 53% of Clay Township, and they've done zero flood mitigation. That's the issue that was brought up, and. Then I was talking to the Army about the possibility of further help, and I know they have a bunch of sandbags in a warehouse in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I said, geez, can we buy these sandbags from you guys? Because I could get them for 11, 12 cents a bag. It would save us like 40%. And they said we can only buy them for public infrastructure. I couldn't hand them out to private people to protect private property. Now, I thought to myself, who owns the darn sandbags? It's the taxpayers anyhow. But anyhow, it didn't go too far with that. Well, at first I thought, well, roads, you know, we have a lot of problem with roads like I just described. And which I couldn't believe, I made them repeat it. They said, well, roads, we don't consider roads as public infrastructure. They consider buildings and pump stations and everything. Mike was there. So you're saying roads is not public infrastructure? They said, that's right. I couldn't believe it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I'm sorry. That's why I made him repeat it. So that was the meeting up there. And we have been, I did get 10,000 sandbags from them Friday because they had some sandbags down there that expired. Imagine that, because they sat on the shelf too long. They're still good. We got them back here and we gave them out. So I'm thinking, why would you want these other ones? Let's get them out to people. I'll pay for them and rotate them, but it doesn't work that way, I guess. Federal government. We've been doing a lot of things as far as enforcing the wake laws on the water. I don't know if you've seen it or not. We actually had 6 officers in the township deputized so they can be out on the water enforcing the wake laws. And the DNRs actually told me they're going to put more more boats on the water in for us on the weekends. I know I've seen them out there twice, I think, on the weekends. And actually, I don't know if I've heard it 2 or 3 times. They did a big PR thing about people's wakes in all of Michigan, but specifically the St. Clair River, about boaters slowing down and watching their wake and know the local water control laws. I know I've seen it on a couple, 3 TV stations. I've heard it on the radio a couple times. So that's good, getting the word out. One thing I know that we received, I should say, the township received, had been 40 or 50 form letters from Russell Island. They wanted the township to deliver sand and gravel for their roads over to Russell Island. And I wrote them a letter, we replied, well, for 2 reasons. We can't do that. One reason is there's no really good or easier way to get the sand over there, because the ferry, the water is too high, we couldn't utilize the ferry. We'd have to have someone barge it over with a tug and barge. And, but number 2 is, before we started doing the sandbag program and the sand, I talked to our attorneys, because we got to be careful how you do spend township money. It's got to benefit everybody in the township. And for instance, everyone likes the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, but the township just can't donate money to them. It doesn't benefit everybody. And for the sand and the sandbags, it's got to be available to everybody in the township. And which we have made it available for everybody. If we took sand over to Russell Island, it would only be available to the people on Russell Island, because it's private roads and private island. And furthermore, the roads all over there are private roads. There's a specific state statute that says townships cannot spend money, aid, or subsidize the maintenance on private roads. So I, basically told them, we can't do that, but the sand is available here. Let's see, roads. Talked about the weight controls and what we're doing. I think that's about it right now. Something else might pop in my head here about the high water. We've been busy down the Colony Road. It's getting better. It's all tore up. We did a water main replacement along the Colony Road. And they're just finishing up the final phases. We've had issues due to the high water and the flooding of pouring cement driveways and doing the landscaping. I know there's a couple of small problems. Someone's electronics controls on their sprinkler system got tore up, and someone's alarm system got tore up. But they're being addressed, and but it's taking a little longer because it's hard to pour a driveway when it's underwater, with cement, and do landscaping along the road. But they're getting it. Let's see, mention that. I did mention the St. Clair County, where they're going to attempt to pump out a lot of these roads for people. At the time I wrote this, we're still working on liability insurance quotes, which we do have now. And met with patrol and office and dispatch unions, and we do have tentative agreements, which I hope they have ratified, all 3 of them, their tentative agreement, and meeting with water and command next week. Tomorrow night, I want to remind everybody, it's a public meeting too, over at Township Hall. We're having a meeting on our master plan. Joint meetings with us, the Planning Commission, the ZBA, and the DDA, and it's more of fact-finding information with how you want the basically the township to look in 20 years from now and things like that. We're going to start, you're going to hear a lot of that about, there's going to be some surveys going out, and you know, would your priorities be? Would you like to see bike paths, this, that type of thing? We're going to be asking a lot of questions about that with people. We'll have probably at least 2 public hearings. We're going to try to get one over here. Let's see. We are meeting this next week. I told the board how we're having issues with our sewer interceptor line on the mainland along M29, and we do have some meetings set up with our engineers and our water departments with us and IRA to interview possible